Section 3, using your catalog lookup. Before we go look up any parts or labor in the system, let's go add a few more jobs here. So we're going to go over to the inspection sheet. And remember, we had a oil change courtesy inspection. Now, depending on your store, you might be using a digital vehicle inspection program, or you might just be using the inspections in here. Either way, typically what's going to happen is they're going to come across and your technician is going to let you know what their findings are. So if, a lot of times on these inspections, most stuff is usually okay. So if that's the case, in here, since I'm using the one that's built internally in the system, I can set them to okay. And then what I do is I just simply go back and set the ones that are not okay. So if I say, well, this thing needs some wiper blades, I can open this up. I can suggest, recommend. I can even use these little drop-ins. And again, it just depends on how it's customized at the location you're at. You can type in anything you want. This internal notes are any internal notes you want to put about this that do not print anywhere for a customer. This is strictly internal information. And then I go add a package. So it's going to go look for the quick picks first. So quick picks are any jobs that are part of anything to do with wipers. So these just automatically pulls them up. So if I say, well, I need some wiper blades, add and close. So it's going to add that job to the work order. You'll see on the right, there's a little picture of a package with a check mark. And let's go right down. Let's go add an air filter. So I'm going to just double click on the line. I'm going to recommend. Why am I recommending? Type in whatever you want. Maybe it's just dirty or something like that. And add. So we go look for the quick pick. Now, if it does not pull up in the quick pick, you can always go look in the various packages or the categories here for whatever package you want. And then you just click it, add and close. So when I go back to my work order, those jobs have been added. And it's easy to tell if it's coming from an inspection because there will be a little push pin here, a little blue push pin. See, if I click on it, it'll actually take me back to that particular line in the inspection sheet. So that way I always know. So I want to go look up all of these parts and the labors, associated labors. Now, before I do that, this customer did come in for a battery concern. So what did we find and how long did the technician take, or what is the charge going to be? So let's go set that up. So I'm going to go click on it. I'm going to right click. I want to open the properties. And now I can come in here and enter my findings. So maybe, battery test failed, need to replace. So you can type anything you need to in these description boxes. When I do that, I might have a fee for that. Maybe I'm going to charge a half hour for a battery test. It's going to use my standard rate unless I override the rate here. And I hit OK. See, now everything is filled in. So I need to add a job for battery. Now I can A, do it from the inspection, or B, I can go to add services. And I can go look for the job here. There's my battery job. Add and close. Don't have to worry about an inspection. Hit OK. Now I've added the job to the work order. Now this one did have the labor time already set up, so I don't even have to change it. If I need to change it, all I have to do is double click, open the line, then I can go change the time or maybe the rate, or make it a fixed rate or a fixed total. What if I want to go look it up in the labor guide? I still can by clicking here, or I can uncheck check the lookup required, and I can use that to look it up in the labor guide as I'm going through and looking for everything else. But since it was already unchecked and already set, we'll leave it as it is. But I do need to look up a battery. So to start looking up parts and labor, you have a couple of choices here. I can one at a time click, right click. Now, engine oil typically comes from inventory. If I want to just jump straight to inventory, I certainly can. Okay. Then I can go in here and you see it's going to bring the definition across. Mine is set up to look in all profit centers and categories. So when I hit search, it just pulls up all the oils. And then I would pick the appropriate oil. I click it and I draw. Draw pulls it from inventory and it puts it onto the work order. Now this is just one way to manually go search inventory. Whenever I use my cataloging, we can set the system up so that it not only looks to your online connections, it will also help you search your inventory all in one place. Here's where this is done. Now again, this is something that is set at your particular store or location that you're at. And it's going to be what we call a workstation setting. So it's per computer. In the setup, at the very, very bottom, workstation settings, we can tell the system to look up to 3 suppliers simultaneously and your inventory. So it actually pulls 3 separate suppliers across and the inventory all at the same time, which makes it a lot faster. So in order to use that, what I want to do is this. I want to click and box the job in. Now the idea behind this is to quickly and easily go through all of the jobs and look everything up instead of having to do this one line at a time, which gets to be quite time consuming. So if I box it and I go straight up to catalog. So what the system does is it immediately starts searching for it. See, and it brings that line across. We're looking for oil, 0W40. Now that's going to come from inventory. So if I go to inventory, I'm going to switch this to all. Again, it's going to look for all my oils. Okay, I'm going to hit search. There it is. I click. That's the oil I want. And I apply. Now what it will do is it'll bring that back to this line, but it's going to keep me back here and it's going to drop to the next line. So now oil filter. Now I don't know which oil filter number it is, so I'm going to go to O'Reilly here and look. So you see I have O'Reilly, I have Napa, and then I have my parts tech. So when I go to O'Reilly and I look, you're going to see here's oil filters. Again, here's the part numbers with the line codes, what they are, their costs, what they have available. Green flag simply means they have it in the store. Yellow is a warehouse. If you see a blue flag, that'll be in the network of stores. And the system checks your inventory at the same time. So what the system is doing is it's reverse searching your inventory for that exact number. It's not looking for line code. It's just looking for the number. When I hover my mouse, it tells me, oh, hey, I've got one in stock and one at the store. So if I want to pull this from inventory, I click the box and I hit apply. And then it'll ask me, do I want to pull from inventory? Do I want to order it? I'm going to pull from inventory. Now it goes to the next line. Now remember, this was an item that was deferred. So we had already looked this up once. So now I know what to go looking for, that particular part number. It's a Napa Premium brake pad set. So if I run over to Napa here, let's go look for an SS8508. And again, it brings that across. SS85. See, I don't see it. So in this particular lookup on this one, it's not showing that part number. So I'm going to jump over to my parts tech. Here I have AutoZone, Napa, and O'Reilly. So I'm going to go to Napa. Now I have the Napa Premium brake pads. I'm going to go down here to Premium, SS8507, 8508M. That's the one I want. So now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to add that one to the cart. I brought it over to the cart. I'm going to hit the little blue arrow on the right side. And what that's going to do is it's going to bring it back. See, it's bringing it back to our work order now. Once I hit apply, now we're going to go look for labor on the windshield wiper blades. So whenever you're searching labor, again, it has a lookup that's already built in the system to tell it what to look for. If you come in here and do not find what you're looking for, go to the bottom right corner and hit the blue arrow. You notice on the bottom of the screen here, it has the vehicle you're working on, including the VIN. So when I hit the blue arrow, see, this is what it's searching for. It's just word searching. The really nice thing about this is I can go into the labor and I can change the lookup to anything I want it to be. If I want to look up water pump, all I have to do is hit search. Type it in. There we go. Now it's going to go look up labor for a water pump. So you can change this to anything you want at any time that you're in here. You can also search by category and subcategory and description. Keyword searching is pretty quick. So if I go back and type in wiper and hit search again, there we go. So whenever you're looking in here, if I go to wiper blades, for example, here we have both blades, 0.6. Now, the 0.6 with the asterisk simply means the labor time is being bumped based off the age. So there is a matrix in here to mark up labor times based off age, make, or model. Now, if I want to bring this back to the ticket, I check the box and I hit apply. If I don't want to charge for this, I don't check the box. I just hit X. It just skips the line. That's all it does. I can always go forward and I can always go backwards at the top right corner here. Next and previous. We're going to use this. So we're going to hit apply. Now we're looking for blades. Now, if I want to continue using O'Reilly, I can, or if I want to switch over to Napa or to my parts tech, I certainly can. See, it's just a matter of flipping back and forth. Now, some vehicles, and actually quite a few now, have two different blade lengths. They might have a short and a long. Now, this particular vehicle, both of the blades are the same, but you'll notice, you see here it has front, driver's side, passenger side, driver's side, passenger side, even though they're the same blade, okay? So if you have a situation where it's actually two different numbers, something like that, you can certainly check them both. So basically you just check both numbers, that's all it is. Now, typically if the part number is underlined, you can double click. It'll usually give you the picture guide, which of course this one doesn't have a picture. Let's see if any of these others have a picture here. No, no on that one, okay. If I want to jump over to another vendor, let's go see what theirs looks like. There we go. That's normally what's going to happen. So if I decide I want two blades from here, I certainly can. Now these are going to be in the DC, the distribution center. It might take a while to get here, but we can certainly try to get them. I'm going to hit apply. Now we're going to go to air filter. Now, if you happen to have several lines here, then you can use this filter box to look for something particular. If I'm just looking for cabin, for example, see, I can do that. So you can always use your filter. Air filter, apply. Now we go looking for an air filter. There's the wicks. Let's see if there's a picture here. Double click it. Yeah, there we go. Got us a picture. Remember, anytime you pull these pictures across, you can print these out in case you need them. We'll use the wicks here. Don't have one in stock. Okay. And we'll hit apply. We'll look for a battery. Let's go look at Napa. See what Napa might have. We can pick batteries from here. Let's pick one of these. And we're going to hit apply. So now we've brought everything across. We have it all priced out. Now we haven't ordered anything yet. We just bring in the information with the costs and everything across from the vendors. On the bottom of the screen, you're going to see various tabs. You have your deferred work tab. So what is deferred work? Any work that I quote on this work order and they don't buy, I will move it to deferred. And I'm going to show you a couple of ways you can do that in just a minute. You have your inspection tab. Again, here's my little inspection sheet. I have a history. So this goes back to the storybook. So if I go look here, you notice it says brakes. Here we did a brake fluid exchange, an inspection, front pads and rotors, some kind of a surge tank or something. Now the nice thing about this is I can click it and I can see every time I did this. Now if I need to go look at detail, all I have to do is just simply double click on it. So now I can actually get the detail of that previous job. If I want to go look at the actual line item, I can double click it. Here's where we received it in. And then back here's a copy of the supplier invoice where we got it. So you can get a lot of detailed information about history without ever leaving the work order. It's all built in. You're going to notice like here we have no invoice number. Here's another one. Let's see what this is. So there's no invoice. This is from May of last year. Oh, we recommended to him to do windshield wiper blades and we deferred it, but he did it himself. So we remedied that deferred work. So it makes it kind of nice. Really easy to tell. We have some more stuff here. Okay. So it even lets you know the stuff that's been remedied in case there's ever a question. You always have a profit analysis. First column is going to be what's being invoiced, your cost, your dollar profit, and your gross profit margin. Here's what I'm selling each item for. Now this is going to be the package total here. Then you got your costs, dollar profit, gross profit margins. You can tell real quick where you're at. And then at the very bottom, it's going to give you your overall profit margin and dollar profit. The very last line is going to give you gross profit dollar per hour average. This is going to be any labor hours on the work order. So per job or per labor line, what is the technician being credited? How many hours total? Now, if your shop is using time clock for the technicians, it'll give you clock times and efficiencies here. And then under purchases, this is going to be all the parts that we looked up and then waiting to be ordered from each vendor. So before we order this, let's go back to the work order and let's go rearrange this. You notice how it's kind of jumping all over the place. And let's kind of scroll back up. And you notice I'm kind of scrolling here. He came in for a battery concern, and he decided to go ahead and do an oil change while he was here. That's your inspection. So we're going to have an oil change, but his primary reason for coming in was for the battery. So if you kind of think about the layout, see, I can change and manipulate the way this stuff comes across. So when I print this out to a customer, the battery's at the very end, but that was the primary reason he came in. So if I want to move this, I can click again and hold my mouse button down and drag, and I can rearrange the order. Another feature that we have in here is you can compress. See, then I can click and drag it again. You can also take any line in here, whether it's a part or a labor line, click and drag and move it from one to another. That's kind of hard, especially when you have a lot of jobs on. So we have a feature here. It's called collapse. So this just automatically collapses everything. Now, if I want to rearrange, I can click again and drag. See, I might want to put the oil change below that battery job. So here we have our diagnosis, our battery, oil change, work that he decided to go ahead and get that was deferred, and then the other things that we're trying to sell. And again, you'll see the blue pinpoints to let you know they're from the inspection. The last feature here, this is really nice. You notice to see my total, I have to scroll to the bottom to see my total. Now he did give us a $50 deposit earlier. So when I get ready to call this customer, the best way to do this is hit review. Review will give you your grand total at the top. Now, as I'm talking to this customer, if they start questioning me, like, how much is it without something? You just simply uncheck the box. Maybe he doesn't want to get a wiper blades and an air filter at this point in time. Now it's going to change your grand total. Now you can go back and forth this way with the customer, okay, till they decide what they want. Now, if they decide they don't want the wiper blades or the air filter, that's fine. When I hit apply, the system will automatically defer. You can type in why they're deferring it. You can also use these little drop ins, and then you hit OK. So that just simply moves them off of the main screen over to deferred work. Now I can always manually manipulate these one at a time by clicking, right click, and I can move them back to the work order, or I can go into a work order, box it in, right click, and move it to defer. Easiest way is just hitting review. So we're going to put all of these on. And then what we're going to do in the next session is we're going to order all these parts. We're going to receive them in, talk a little bit more about returning and doing sublets, and then we're going to post it out and create an invoice. So that is the end of section 3 for now.